Good morning and welcome. None of us up here have been able to see an elected official, so we'll just welcome everyone as special guests. Thank you for being here. And Marshall, if you'll bring the list forward. At this time, I will call the November the 13th Paulding County Board of Commissioners work session to order. Thank you, Brian. We are always privileged to have Chaplain Joey Meeks here with us from the Sheriff's Office to bring us our invocation and to lead us in the pledge to the flag.
Salute, pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Again, thank you so much for having us here again. We appreciate always the opportunity. My verse this week's found in John 12:26. It says, "If any man serve me, let him follow me. Where I am, there shall also my servant be. If any man serve me, him will my Father honor." And thinking upon that as we go through life and everything that pleases God, we know that He will honor us later. Amen. So let's pray. Father, we love you, and again, we thank you so much for all the blessings of life. We thank you for this great county and state that we live in, Father, and we appreciate everything that everybody that works here, Lord, they put into it. And we know there's a lot of problems, Father, here. There's so many things plaguing our society now, Father, with the drugs, the suicides, and all these things. But we're so thankful that you've given us people to fight this and to deal with it. It's my prayer today for Paulding County. I pray, Father, that you'd build a huge hedge around it, Father, and I pray that you'd bind every force of Satan, Father. I pray, God, that you'd help those that can stand up, step up, Father. Praying those that can work, Father, that they'll stand up for the work and the task at hand. And always we want to praise and honor you, the Lord Jesus Christ, in His name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Chaplain Meeks. The minutes from the October 23rd, 2018, and the work session minutes and the October 23rd board meeting minutes are available for review. As you know, Sunday was Veterans Day, and yesterday was Veterans Day observed. Usually at our Board of Commissioners meetings, we do recognize veterans, and I had a video, but we decided that we would just let the veterans stand up today because we have another video about Paulding County. So if you're in the room and you're a veteran, would you please stand up? Thank you. So with that, we will watch our Positively Paulding, which highlights several of the great Paulding County events that we've had this autumn.
Earl Duncan Park at Paulding Meadows is home to the popular Paulding Meadows Arts and Crafts Festival held annually each September. With a variety of vendors, food, and a host of entertainment, the Paulding Meadows Arts and Crafts Festival is another fun event to check out here in Paulding County.
My name is John Battle, and I am on the board of directors at the Hiram Rosenwald School Museum. The Heritage Festival has been going on for about 15 years, and this is where we invite all of the different vendors from the community to come in and display their wares and make a little money, and at the same time a little money for the museum.
The Trick or Treat Village is the perfect place to bring children of all ages for a day filled of fun activities and to even do a little trick-or-treating.
Happy Halloween!
With plenty of fun booths to visit, games, hay rides, and even a kids' costume parade, the Trick or Treat Village should be on your list of things to do during the fall and Halloween season. Plus, you never know who you will see trick-or-treating here at the Village. This year's Village will host the largest group to ever participate with 13 civic, church, and nonprofit groups, 17 corporate, and 7 county departments represented. There will be approximately 325 volunteers, 22 individual booths, and 15 total activity areas, including a family-friendly hayride.
Good stuff. November is Type 1 Diabetes Awareness Month. And yesterday, some of the staff had the privilege of having the Youngs come by the office, and we took some pictures. Briley Young is 8 years old now, and she is here with her mom and dad, Bobby and Ashley. And as we read the part of the proclamation, we encouraged them to come back today. And so they're here today, and I'm going to ask Bobby and Ashley and Briley to come forward. And Briley's brave enough to even read some of the proclamation to us. So if y'all will come forward at this time. And just come right up here, and we're going to flip this microphone around. She's going to be reading the same thing that's on this proclamation.
Diabetes affects 29.1 million people, 9.3% of the population in the United States, and is a serious disease for which there is no known cure, and which is the 7th leading cause of death by disease in the United States. And type 1 diabetes is an incredible, incurable autoimmune disease in which a person's pancreas stops producing insulin, a hormone that enables people to produce energy from food. It occurs when the body's immune system attacks and destroys the insulin-producing cells in the pancreas called the beta cells. Its onset that nothing to do with diet or lifestyle. There is no prevention for type 1 diabetes, and at present no cure, and more than 8,000 children and currently an unknown number of adults in Georgia that live with type 1 diabetes, and an increase in community awareness of risk factors and symptoms related to type 1 diabetes can improve the likelihood that people live with type 1 diabetes will get the attention they need before suffering with devastating complications of this disease. And the ultimate goal is to find a cure for type 1 diabetes.
So we, the Paulding County Board of Commissioners, do hereby proclaim November as Type 1 Diabetes Awareness Month in Paulding County. And tomorrow is the Type 1 Diabetes Awareness Day. So we're so proud that y'all would come in today and help us be more informed about type 1 diabetes. And we got some flowers for you. Commissioner Davis can't read that well.
No, sir.
And speaking of Commissioner Davis, he recently was awarded by the ACCG with an accomplishment, and the Association of County Commissioners of Georgia, or Georgia's County Association, recently presented county officials with their certificates for the completion of their continuing education requirements within the Lifelong Learning Academy. Recipients were recognized for their accomplishments during a luncheon at Jekyll Island's Convention Center, and Ron Davis was one of the many county officials who received recognition during the conference. So, Ron, we congratulate you. Way to go. The Board of Commissioners would like to present the Public Safety Appreciation Award to Detective Steve Sorrells and Detective Sean Lipstrew with the Sheriff's Office for their continued effort in the teen suicide intervention and work with the schools, counselors, and parents. Colonel Hutton is going to come forward and help with this presentation.
Thank you, sir. I apologize. The sheriff had a command board meeting for the drug task force, so I'm going to do my best and fill in for him. The sheriff's office would like to recognize Detective Sean Lipstrew and Detective Steve Sorrells for their hard work and their dedication. Detective Lipstrew has been with the sheriff's office since 2007 and with the juvenile investigative division since 2012. Detective Sorrells has been with the sheriff's office since 2014 and with the Crimes Against Children Investigations Division since 2016. Both detectives have been working collectively under the supervision of Major Ava Davis, Lieutenant Starry Kilgore, and Lieutenant Tracy Parker to form the High Risk Victims Unit. As members of the MATCH Task Force, FBI Metro Atlanta Child Exploitation, and the Georgia Statewide Human Trafficking Task Force, they have attended numerous courses and online-based learning dealing with human trafficking, commercial sexual exploitation, and child abduction. Detective Sorrells and Lipstrew are also dealing with juveniles who have either threatened or attempted suicide. They will follow up after the juvenile has an encounter with law enforcement or school counselors to ensure parents are taking the threat serious and a doctor has assessed the juvenile. They also provide information to assist these families in receiving help. With this being a growing issue amongst our youth, the predators will use their vulnerability to victimize them, making them high-risk victims. Detective Sorrells and Lipstrew have gone above and beyond their normal duties as detectives truly caring about our community. We want them to know they are appreciated and their hard work is not in vain. Thank you both, gentlemen. You've been doing an outstanding job. Along with your certificates, Sergeant Henson also has a contact with Texas Roadhouse, and they give y'all a certificate as well for receiving this award. You can have a meal. Major, come on. Come on, sir. Thank you, man.
Congratulations. It's a great morning. Invited guests, we have none. Bid awards, discuss action to award software purchase in the amount of $668,078.67 to the lowest bidder, SHI International, and Ms. Pollard and Mr. Lyons are going to inform us a little bit more about this award.
Good morning.
Good
morning.
Every 3 years, we have to go out for the Microsoft license agreements. And this is, the last one was completed in 2015. So this will complete this process for the next 3 years. This was a budgeted expense. The licenses have increased in cost from the previous year, as technology generally does. So unless you have any questions, we are requesting award to the low bid of to SHI in the amount of $668,078.67 for an annual cost of $222,692.89.
You want to add anything, Mr. Lyons?
I might as well add a couple of things, given the opportunity. Just for clarification, the Microsoft Office licenses are Microsoft Office, Word, Excel, PowerPoint, Access, which all of our departments use. Also, it is the SQL Server licenses, the server licenses, the email server license. So it's things that we use every minute of every day, 24/7 across the county. As Ms. Pollard mentioned, this price is divided over 3 years, equal payments. There was a slight increase this year. A couple were due to Microsoft changes in their structure. They increased costs across the board on all their licenses, which was a increase to us as well. And then they had a change in their structure where they're licensing core instead of processor. A single processor can and usually does have multiple cores. So now we're, in essence, paying more for those licenses. Internally, we've also had some increases. We put on staff last year. Each one of those employees had to have a server license, an Exchange license, and Microsoft Office added to their computers, so that was an increase. And then we've also switched over from standard server licenses to the data center licensing. That allows us to move servers around, virtual servers around, to other hosts in the event the host just needs a little bit more processing power. So gives us a little bit of leverage in keeping the processors running as high as possible. It was a budgeted item, so our recommendation is to approve.
Any questions?
How many bids did you get on that? Because I don't think, we got several backup.
There were a total of 5 bids
Okay.
submitted, and SHI was roughly $100,000 lower. It was quite a bit lower than the other ones.
Can you, when you go back after the meeting, can you email us those bids?
Yeah, I'd be happy to.
Okay, because I don't believe they were in the backup, but we got backup twice this time, updated backup, but I never did see the bids in them.
You'll have it before the 2 o'clock meeting.
Okay, no problem.
All right.
Hey, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Will. Thank you, Will. Reports from committees and departments today. The elections team has had a very exciting month, and the director is Ms. Deidre Holden. I think she's got her whole team here, but I'm sure she's got some exciting things to say to us.
Yes, we're very exciting about the turnout that we had. That's what I want to talk to you about today. We saw historical numbers, and we feel those historical numbers, trust me. But I wanted to talk to you about, we've had so many things going on. I get phone calls every day, people asking me who won the election. Well, I just honestly can tell you I don't know at this point. Hopefully this week. I was telling them in the back a few minutes ago that I go to bed every night and I get a news alert, and then I got one last night before I went to bed about a judge has ruled now that we can't certify until Friday. So this election is still very much active. We have taken care of our provisionals. We did that yesterday with the panel. So we are right where we need to be. We're just waiting for the go-ahead to put this one to rest and get ready for a runoff. As far as the numbers go, we had a 62.05% turnout, which is absolutely amazing. And I want to thank our voters for that. What I want to thank my staff mostly for is this. We took a big chance and we closed 3 early voting locations and we brought everyone here. We started voting on October the 15th and we stopped voting on November the 2nd. The first day we voted over 1,700 people, and that's when I brought them into the office and I said, buckle down, this is going to be an amazing election. The last day of November 2nd, we voted nearly 3,200 voters. So the total early voters that came to this location and went through that cafeteria was 32,884. We never had a wait over 1 hour. That was even when they were lined up on the last day to the back parking lot. So that says a lot for my staff. We had 3,314 paper ballots that we ran through Tuesday. I thought I was going to be smart and get ahead of the game, and we started opening those at 2 o'clock, and we were still opening those at 9 o'clock. So that there's a lot of that was a lot of excitement there. We had over 215, I think that was the final number we had, of ballots that had to be duplicated because they were torn, they were folded incorrectly, and that took several hours to do. Normally, those of you that's been with me for a long time in elections, you know the first thing that we report is paper absentee ballots. That was the last thing we reported on Tuesday night. So that was a long process, and all those people that were involved in that, they were sequestered from 2 o'clock until about 9:45. Because we couldn't let the results go out until we had everything properly processed. On Election Day, we saw an amazing turnout of 25,120 voters that chose to go out to their polls, which leads to a real sore subject. And I want to say this publicly. Shelton Elementary, we hear you, and we're working to get you to where you don't have to stand in line for 2.5 hours. They were our number one turnout of the day. They voted a total of 3,943 voters in their precinct. They were long lines. Our board is going to revisit that. But we just have nothing in that area. And I'm pleading with all of you, with the public, please, any suggestions you have, we've got to do something in that area. And we would appreciate that. There again, the teamwork, the encouragement, I mean, there's people that works in other departments that amaze me because when all this starts happening with us, they're calling us, what can we do to help you? And this little voice kept going off in my head, and it was Frank Baker, because he always says to us at the beginning of every staff meeting, my name's Frank Baker and I'm your friend. And Frank, thank you. He comes down and says, excuse me. He says, I'm here for you. And he says, I appreciate you. And that means more than you'll ever know. Because we are a team. And we have to get past all of this division. And we got to move forward. And I appreciate you, Frank. And with that being said, I want to give you some comparative numbers. In 2014, the last time the governor was on the ballot, we had a 48% turnout. And on Election Day, we only voted 19,000 voters. In person, we voted 15,000, a little bit over. So it goes to show that people are voting. They are concerned. They do care. On October the 20th, we were finished with our first Saturday voting. And I gave some numbers out. We had 6 days left. We had voted at that time 17,388 early voters. In 6 days, we doubled that number. We have not been home. We have slept in our chairs. We've slept under our desk. But, we got through it. So I want to thank the voters, the county, my staff. It was an amazing election. And we're ready to roll up our sleeves and go into a runoff and get this year behind us. So thank you to everyone who has helped us out, and I appreciate it.
Thank you, Deidre.
Thank you, Deidre.
Are y'all going to Broward County, Florida? I figured you had.
I'd just like to take another minute because that's so much hard work, preparation, but to have their whole team stand up, please. Thank you all. I know there are a lot more volunteers, and I think we're going to have a little fun tomorrow, so look forward to that. Colonel Hutton is going to bring us an update on the Sheriff's Office. Colonel Hutton.
Thank you. Good morning again.
Morning, sir.
See if I can get this PowerPoint on here. I know y'all have a book, but this way the other folks can see it. There we go. This is the sheriff's report from January through October of 2018. On the, I believe in y'all's books, there should be a highlighted sheet there at the front. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. And then the rest of it's the detailed sheets for y'all to look at later on. The first thing I was going to talk about is our overdoses in the county. This year, since January through October, as I stated, we've had 20 Narcan shots administered just by the sheriff's deputies. Just to kind of familiarize you with that, Narcan is designed to reverse the effects of an opioid overdose. These particular shots that the deputies carry on them, we're not medical people, we're not EMS, but the opioid crisis is getting worse. We were actually able to obtain these through a grant program. These auto injectors are what they're called. It actually, when you pull it out, I should have brought one for a demonstration, but it actually gives you step-by-step instructions. And we do put the deputies through training with it, and they carry it in their breast pocket so that they have it on them at all times, and they can administer it when needed. Each one of those, if we had to purchase them, are roughly about $125 to $150. One unit comes with 2 auto injectors and a training device, and that one box is $200 and something if we had to purchase them. So through a grant, we've been able to do that. We've been doing that since 2016, if I'm not mistaken. To continue on, we've had 6 heroin overdoses, 4 that are still unknown. We're waiting on toxicology reports, and 8 that are opioid overdoses. And total, we've had 66 overdoses or poisoning calls. Sorry. All right, the deputies, they've patrolled 2,525,883 miles since January. We've had 2,912 arrests. 2,612 traffic citations have been issued. We've had 3,329 individuals booked into our facility at the jail. And we've had 53,073 complaints that were responded to through 911. Our high volume calls, alarms are still up there. We had 4,698 alarms, most of them being residential. We had 2,361 domestic disputes. We had 1,483 lockouts. Those are citizens calling that they've locked their keys in their car. We still do those. A lot of counties don't because of the liability. The deputies can damage a car. You know, we're not locksmiths, so Slim Jim in a car or even using a bladder to open the door enough, we can damage vehicles. So they have to sign a release allowing us to do so, but we still do it. We served 4,598 subpoenas and civil papers so far. We've had 5,336 suspicious incidents, persons, or vehicles that were either called in or initiated by deputies. We had 2,174 theft by taking, burglary, and entered auto reports. We've had 6,579 traffic stops, 72 DUIs. We've cleared 2,726 warrants. There's been 934 zone patrol requests, and we've had 1,322 juvenile incident reports. 382 of those were assigned to detectives, and we had 459 juveniles charged with various juvenile charges. This is not in your packet, and me and the sheriff discussed it, and we try to keep y'all abreast of what's going on at the sheriff's office. And right now, currently, we have 20 deputy positions that are vacant, and we have 10 detention officer positions that are vacant. The deputies just did a PT assessment this morning out here at Veterans Park, trying to get some new detention officers through the process and getting them on. We're having a lot of applicants apply, but they're through our assessment process, we're washing them out, and we're also washing them out through our jail training program. This is a career that is not for everybody. So our applicant pool we've got people applying, but they're not meeting the standards that we require of them. So, but we're continuing to push and fight through that. So, and just to add this in there, we're hiring. So, I've put our detention, our jailers, their salaries, deputy sheriff's salary up there. These are not all of our benefits, obviously, but they are some of the ones that stand us out from other agencies and whatnot. So, I appreciate if y'all have any questions, I'll be more than glad to answer them.
Is everybody growing a beard?
Not quite. We do have no shave October, November at the sheriff's office for personnel that don't have to wear a uniform to help raise funds for our benevolent fund and our flower fund. So it goes over pretty well. So except for the guys in uniform. Now, if we have to wear a uniform, we have to shave. So.
Thank you so much, Carlin.
Yes, sir. Thank y'all. I appreciate y'all's time.
Thank you.
As you know, the fiscal year ends June the 30th, and Ms. Pollard, the finance director, is going to bring us a 2018 budget document. Thank you, Kevin.
Good morning. This will be brief, but for 2017 and 2018, we included more information in our budget document and applied for the Distinguished Budget Award through the Government Finance Officers Association, and we were awarded in 2017 and 2018. We have recently completed the 2019 packet, And we are submitting it for the award as well. So what makes this budget different from the one you approved back in August? Absolutely nothing, except for it contains more information. This is more of it demonstrates that the document is more of a planning and policy document as opposed to strictly numbers. What you had in front of you in August was strictly numbers. These numbers are no different. Each year we're able to add more and more information to this document, and one of the final requirements of application is that we make this document available to the public, and that's what on behalf of the Finance Department I'm here to do today. We want to notify the Commission and the public that the document is available at paulding.gov under the Finance Department. And this basically gives you the additional information, talks about our budget process. It talks about how our forecasts are completed. It talks about what revenues have changed, how the funds are being expensed, and it talks about our capital improvement plan for the next couple of years. So those are some of the additional information in this document that you wouldn't have found in the other document.
Any questions?
Thank you, Tabitha.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
And last but not least, we're honored again to have with us Eric Johnson, the Director for Comprehensive Program Services, to give us an update on jail construction.
Good morning, Chairman, fellow commissioners.
Good morning.
Let's see if I can do this as effectively as Chief Hunt, and hopefully this is ours. We'll see. Oh, there we go. It's always a mystery here. Slideshow. I'm an engineer, not a marketing person. Bear with me. Hopefully, there we go. Fantastic. Thank you for having us again. Amy Tizenchek, who's the lead program manager for CPS, is here with us, as well as Tim Collins and Lance Painter with Turner. So let's get started. Again, all the information is on pauldingjail.com. As usual, you see a picture of construction in progress right now. We'll get into that a little bit more here shortly. There are blue skies still out there somewhat. It's kind of messy out there right now. But anyway, let's get into the budget. The last time we spoke, we came to you with not such good news on rock out there and some other changes that were happening out there. And we'll get into those here in a minute, but just from an overall, I'm going to try to stay to this presentation because usually I get all over the map and everybody gets confused. So there's a lot to go over, so I'll just go through it sequentially. So what we have here is an update where you'll see that we have taken contingency actually from some money from the furniture, fixture, and equipment. We've met with the sheriff's office, and we feel like in lieu of $2.7 million, and by the way, one of the folks on staff with us is the retired chief deputy of the Douglas County Sheriff's Office, who has done a lot of this through FF&E, who's been trying to help advise on these particular issues as well. So we've moved money from there up into the construction as well. And with the funding of $1,150,000 per COR 06, at the bottom of the page, you'll see that there is amount of $368,275 that is above and beyond what we have in the construction project right now. We're going to get into that in detail here in a minute. But that does provide that we have $250,000 still left in owner contingency up there as well. So as you can also see down below, Turner's done an excellent job in mitigating a lot of these costs. We're still out there not accepting some cost, a normal wear and tear on a project of this type. Okay, so it's a daily process out there, which a lot of you have been involved in. Scott Green for one, for sure, and obviously the sheriff's office. So below there, you'll see the original construction contingency, which is the money that is inside Turner's guaranteed maximum price for things that we watch over with them the things that weren't inherently in the documents that they didn't bid. And to currently, they are a little shy of $780,000 still in construction contingency in their GMP. So that's still money to be spent on the project. What doesn't get spent gets returned to the owner. Okay? So we still feel that's a conservative number, but we can't tell them they have, and we'll show in this, that they did provide a good bit of what that 1.3 to 780 was, about $300,000 towards the conformance documents, which we worked with them on, and we felt like they should have had in the GMP, as opposed to going in the owner contingency. They took it out of their construction contingency. So anyway, so let's get into the cost impacts. Obviously the rock, where the original number was 10,900 yards of rock was what Turner estimated. We think we're going to be closer to around 5,000. Nova's been out there every single day watching over this whole thing, obviously, and whatever rock is there, it's counted by the yard and assessed from a cost standpoint of where they're taking it. We've been working with the county excellently and been able to mitigate a lot of that on site, which has saved a tremendous amount. We are going to, thankfully, take some of that rock and fill Eric's hole over there at the training center that's still over there. So there might be something good that comes out of this rock, at least personally. So we think that number, we know that number is going to come down. That number may be closer to maybe $450,000, that rock. Okay, and we'll get into the approval of this contract amendment number 2, which is what we're here for as it relates to that number. Precast panels, again, there's some slides down below. We'll talk about that in a second, but that was something that came out of the city of Dallas. Conformance documents as well. Within that conformance document number, there's $310,000, which was a result of, again, the city of Dallas's comments on trying to leave the hill there and all those trees there. Okay, and I will just tell you, and it's on a slide here, personally, I was the one who got the first meetings together with Bruce Coyle with Dallas back in January of 18, with all the officials other than city manager, no political officials, city manager, and 2 folks below them. Went through the permitting process, all the costs associated with it, everything else, and these issues never came up. So this hit us in the actual approval process, trying to get an LDP. And Scott assisted well with that, and even to the point where I know the sheriff had to go to that planning meeting just for them to accept what we were actually building up there. That never came up till we actually went in there for a permit approval in April or May. So anyway, so you see that, and that's the number, the $1,518,000. If you added it to the original number of $60,100,000, that's how you came up with the number of $61,618,275, which we are asking approval not to exceed that number. And that's critical because we're still working on that number, the contract amendment number 2. We're not going to come to you with that bigger number. We just wanted to get approval up to that amount, but it will be reduced because I know the rock is going to be less. Okay, so when you approve it today, that number is going to come down, but that's not the contract amendment number 2 we're going to bring to you for $61,618,000. It will be less. We're not going to put money into their contract knowing that we're not going to spend it and then somehow or another get it back out. It's like giving your child $10 to go to the football game when you know they only need 3. $7 isn't coming back, at least not my kids. So anyway, so here's a little bit of, and there's a lot more detail on this rock than you see right there, but that's a quick summary. There's a lot of sweat and boots on the ground mitigating this issue. It's right there, 4220. We're doing a little bit more out there. We think it's probably going to come in around 5,000. That estimate is from Nova. So precast panels, I touched on that a little bit. Didn't come up till the actual review process when we were 100% done with these drawings. Okay. And again, that was that we met with them that day when it was really icy, people couldn't get around. We all got to that meeting. So it just kind of personally upset me when all that stuff came up, but that's okay. Conformance documents, again, here's more of a detail. You'll see right there that earthwork and site utilities number of $310,000. That's a direct result of the county working with the city to keep that hill back there with all those trees to try to shield. That was our first thing that we were going to try to do and not do the precast. And then they said, well, you need to do the precast too. So we wound up having to do both of them because, eventually those trees probably may come down and you will be able to see it. So anyway, that's the conformance documents. And that's kind of it right there. So I would like to say, I think Wakefield Beasley and Turner, the whole team has done an excellent job. If you look at, and we've gotten questions on the conformance documents, what was left off. Really, it's around $300,000 on a $60 million construction project of stuff that was not on the drawings that Turner didn't price. That's not much. I can tell you that's excellent. A lot of these costs, and we can go through them, are stuff that were not associated with the design of this facility and the process. Okay? So, schedule update. As you can see, foundation, not a whole lot going on out there today. But foundations are going in. Structural precast, you see that coming up. It's really kind of nice to see once you get the foundations in, how quickly it does come up. So you'll be seeing a lot more in the months to come. And final completion, again, is end of April 2020. And every day we're trying to better that date. There's an elevation. We got questions. Sorry, try to stay on task on the slides.
There's some kind of location that you can put rocks in called Eric's Hole.
Eric's Hole. Well, I'm glad the sheriff's not here. He'd probably be up here, and he's always threatened to put me in there. As you remember, some of y'all, we had rock at the training center, and so we actually, if you remember, we raised the actual training center 10 feet to stay out of the rock. And as you remember, that was one concept we're thinking about doing here, but when we saw how much rock there really wasn't, that went away very quickly. If you remember, that rock number we first came to was like 1.5. We think it's going to probably be $450,000. So, but yes, there's a big hole there. We had to get dirt to put up, to backfill to raise everything up. So yeah, I don't know how it's my hole, but it is my hole, and I'll take it. About to fill it.
We'll hear from you in December also, Eric?
Yes, sir. I'll come every 2 weeks if you'd like.
Good report. I would like to say a couple things because I've had a couple phone calls after our last one.
Yes,
the
sir.
Sheriff and I have talked. The precast design that we're putting on the walls, I think not only has the city of Dallas asked for something, I think it's important because there's some things you can, when you get through building a house, you can update your kitchen, you can do things to, but there's some things that you can't. And that's one of them that would cost us a lot. So I think that's going to be good not only for our campus and for the city of Dallas, for our community. And I think that's very important. And I know everybody's worked hard to do that. And I think it's a very worthwhile amount of money to spend on that project. I do have to say that I don't want the city of Dallas getting all the criticism about the trees and the hill. Because I have wore Scott Green out with it from day one, and these commissioners know. I said, we're not taking away all those trees. We're just not going to do it. If somebody needs to do it 10, 20 years from now for something, that's fine.
Right.
That'll be up to them. But I said, we're not going to do it. We're not going to have a project that doesn't look good. And if we don't need to do it now, we're just not going to do it. And Scott's done good. Scott, I'd like to thank you publicly for what you've done on the project, you and Bruce Coyle. But you, as far as I'm concerned, have been the person that's kept me updated, kept this board updated. But you've been boots on the ground out there. And that's what we need when we do projects like this. We don't need to think that we can bid a project, hire somebody to do it, and then turn our backs until it's time to cut the ribbon, because that's not the case. So job well done, Scott. A lot of work still in front of us. Thank you for the trees in the hill, and we'll continue on. Eric, thanks for the report.
Yes, sir.
And look forward to hearing from you in December. Maybe we'll dry out this coming weekend.
We hope so.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Maybe that number come down.
Questions, comments? Thank you, Mr. Johnson.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
We have no one who's signed up for public participation on agenda items. Under consent agenda, discuss action on 8 consent agenda items. It's a requirement that I read these. Agenda item number 1 is approve the request of the Paulding County Sheriff's Office to retire the surplus Deputy Charles Mitchell Hudgens service weapon, a Glock 21 SF-45, serial number SWF569, and present to Deputy Hudgens upon his retirement of 16 years with the Paulding County Sheriff's Office. And number 2, approve the request by the Paulding County Sheriff's Office to retire or surplus Lieutenant Kathy Etheridge's service weapon, a Glock 21 SF-45, serial number TYN937, and present to Lieutenant Etheridge upon her retirement of 21 years of service with the Sheriff's Office. Number 3 is to approve the request by the Paulding County Sheriff's Office to retire surplus Corporal Linda Kennon's service weapon, a Glock 21 SF-45, serial number TYN937, and present to Corporal Kennon upon her retirement of 21 years of service with the Sheriff's Office. Number 4 is action to authorize the chairman to approve a lighting services agreement prepayment cost to the Georgia Power Company in the estimated amount of $64,688 for streetlight installation on Virgie Ballantyne Drive. And number 5 is action to authorize the chairman to approve an actual cost utility relocation agreement with the Georgia Power Company in the estimated amount of $173,123.43 for Raccoon Creek Road over the Raccoon Creek Bridge construction project. Number 6 is to approve the proposed Paulding County Board of Commissioners work session and board meeting schedule for the 2019 calendar year. Number 7 is approve the proposed application and public hearing dates for the Planning Commission, the Zoning Board of Appeals, the Stream Buffer Development Waiver Review Committee, and the Waiver Review Committee for the 2019 calendar year. And number 8 is acceptance of subdivision streets for perpetual maintenance, Birchwood at Nature Walk, Unit 1, Phase 3C, and the Ironwood Trail and the Ironwood Court. Would any commissioners like to place any of these listed consent agenda items on the new business?
Dave, I don't need to move any to new business, but I did just happen to notice the serial numbers listed on number 2 and 3 are the same. And it's just a typo, I'm sure, but we need to make sure for the 2 o'clock agenda that we get the right serial numbers in the right place.
Thank you, sir.
I don't have anything I want to move, but I wanted to ask Rebecca, did we check the school calendar? We're good? And I always say that every year because I won't be here next year. It doesn't affect me, but it affects our staff, and that's why I say it. People say, well, what's the big deal about it? But those February breaks and those September breaks affect our staff. And
Yeah.
we're good?
Yeah, we have 2 Thursday meetings set for next year. The one is during the fall break. The other one is in January, which is the week of the Martin Luther King holiday. And so coming back on Tuesday puts a burden on staff, so we're shifting that to Thursday.
Okay. Good deal. Thank you, Rebecca.
Thank you, Todd. All right, old business, we have none. New business, number 1 is discuss action to adopt resolution 18-54, authorizing the filing of an application with the Georgia Department of Transportation in the United States Department of Transportation for a grant for public transportation assistance under Section 5311 of the Federal Transit Laws under Chapter 23 of Title 49 of the United States Code. Ms. Pollard.
This is an annual grant that we have to file an application with the Georgia DOT, and it allows us some grant assistance with the operation of the transit buses that operate out of the senior center. This grant is on average for about $58,000 toward the cost of that service. And this just authorizes the chairman to sign the documents.
Questions, comments? Thank you,
Same
Todd.
thing, different year.
Same thing, different year.
Number 2 is discuss action to approve amendment number 2 to revise the guaranteed maximum price contract with Turner Construction for an amount not to exceed $61,618 I'm sorry. I just start the whole sentence over. Discuss action to approve amendment number 2 to revise the guaranteed maximum price contract with Turner Construction for amount not to exceed $61,618,275 for construction of the Paulding County Adult Detention and Law Enforcement Center. Mr. Green and Mr. Johnson.
I think Eric's comments pretty much cover it, and Commissioner Pownell's questions are appropriate. I just want to add a couple comments. I just want to let you know that we have worked very hard to ensure that the Commission is getting what they need to out of this program. And of course, most importantly, the Sheriff Office for their function once it's all complete. So everything we're doing is to be diligent with the funding to make sure that we're getting what we pay for, and we're not paying too much for the things that we're adding. And that's our everyday job. We are out there working very hard, looking at the changes. Turner is a good partner. They've worked very hard to keep these costs down. And as we've dealt with some of these changes, I think they've done a good job. In this change we're bringing to you, there are some quantity-based changes that we hope we don't have to actually spend the money on. For instance, the rock quantity will come down quite a bit. Also, in the site civil changes, there's about $200,000 built in for exporting dirt to the training center. We don't think we're going to need all that, although we would like to fill the entire hole that's over there. We don't want to haul any more over there than we have to. So we're going to continue to try to keep costs down. A lot of the changes that we dealt with during construction, actually as construction was getting underway, the changes were already in motion from plan review comments, things that staff felt we needed in this site. A lot of concrete pipe was added back in, higher quality materials, a lot of erosion control items were added in. A good bit of cost that Sheriff won't exactly appreciate because it doesn't pertain to the building and the function of the building, but things that we felt were necessary for the long-term maintenance of the facility and things that will benefit us in the long term with building maintenance concerns. Obviously, we've got to take care of this building, and with the way the building will look. When I walked into this project a few months on the job, things were already rolling pretty strong, and we realized that the trees were coming down in January and February. That was something the Commission had expressed a concern about how this will look, not just the city of Dallas. So we had to throw a lot of changes at the designer and the civil group and the architect to make sure we were not leveling a site that didn't have to be leveled. So those costs were on the fly, and a lot of them were not fully priced when we launched the first contract with the contractor. They were being priced. We knew they were coming. We didn't know how much exactly. So yes, we've been playing catch up on the pricing. For the most part, all this pricing was done according to the original pricing. It's just extending the quantities where we needed the quantities. And I feel very confident we're getting a quality program, and we're not sacrificing what the sheriff operation needs, long-term safety for their facility. And we're going to continue to make sure that with the remaining funds that we're going to get everything in the program on day one when they open the door, and that we're not pushing off something that would have to deal with on a general fund budget in a later year and come back and ask for more. So I feel good at where we're at now, and with the remaining pricing that has to be done with the Turner team, I think we're in really good shape. And we do have enough cushion, I think, to carry this number forward to get us to the end. Be glad to answer any other questions.
Again, thanks for your work. Just stay on top of old Eric over there.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you, Scott. Number 3 is discuss action to authorize the chairman to enter into a contract with Shaw Sports Turf through the National Joint Purchasing Alliance to construct a synthetic turf playing field at the Burnett Park at a cost of $521,136.05. The primary usage of this facility will be for special needs playing field, and this will be a SPLOST funded project. And we're honored to have Mr. Justice here to talk about this very exciting addition in our recreation world.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. I'm honored to be able to present it to you. Take you back a few years ago, close to 10 years ago, when we constructed Burn Hickory Park. The original intent was to construct this field there. We're getting it done, you know. I'm excited about it. I'm tickled pink for the opportunities that it will present to our user groups. As it states in the language, it is through the National Joint Purchasing Alliance. That to kind of give you a breakdown of that, it's similar to the state contract bids. So it's already been vetted, it's already been priced. We don't have to go through the bid process to make that happen. So there's a select group there. Shaw Sports Turf is well known. Done a couple of great big projects that are close to us here, and several more in the metro area where this application has been put to work and has proven itself to be successful. The samples that you have, and we've got another one here, what makes this a little bit different from a regular synthetic turf field is we are designing this for our special populations. You know, we've worked with Mr. Watts, who I'll introduce in just a second, to make certain that it will be accessible to wheelchairs, to strollers, to walkers, and that they will not have the problems that they might have on, certainly not on regular grass, but on the other synthetic turf fields. The material with the pilings, that's the surface. The pad that's underneath, and Mr. Watts can give you some more details here in a minute, that firms it up, and that goes underneath this. It is a little bit additional cost, but it's something that we need to put in there in order to make this work. We're excited about it. If I can first, let me introduce Mr. Jim Watts with Shaw Sports Turf. He can answer way more of the technical questions than I can. And if you have any questions for him, or Jim, if you have anything you want to share that I've missed.
Hey guys, I'm Jim Watts with Shaw Sports Turf. Just happy to be here, answer any questions you have. So,
Is this like the lake point where you get a thunderstorm and 20 minutes later it's dry?
correct, yes sir. This is actually Lake Point on steroids. So you have an impact layer underneath. So it's a little more advanced than what we have at Lake Point. But yes, that's correct. And the reason for the investment is obviously you need a very stiff underlayment, which that's what this is. It's polyethylene underlayment that will support the weight of a wheelchair and persons as well. And you're able to roll the wheelchair along. The biggest difference is typical sports field, you have to add rubber. The rubber a lot of times will become, for the reason of safety, it's very, elastic. It's got some pliability. It's bouncy. Same time, very difficult to roll the wheelchair wheels through. All we're going to put in is sand over the top of this, and your safety comes from the pad underneath. So therefore, it's a very safe, firm, user-friendly product.
Where does the sand go?
Sand goes on the top of the turf. It'll fill it up to stand the turf up.
Okay. What is the life expectancy of this?
Life expectancy is 8 years on the turf on the top, 20 years on the pad underneath. So you get 2.5 life cycles out of it. Quite frankly, most of your turf will ugly out long before it wears out. So most people don't replace for 10, but the warranty is 8. But the pad is 20. So it's 2 life cycles. So the next time that you do replace it, you'll just tear the turf off and reinstall turf back on the top. So, your cost is roughly half at that point.
Okay.
Got any plans for a white oak, a similar field? I know.
I hope so.
Yeah. Differing opinions here, on those. I think it's important to mention a couple of things here when we're talking about synthetic turf. It is the first one that we will have, in our park system. It is also the first one that doesn't need daily maintenance, doesn't need to be watered, doesn't need to be cut. So we won't have to dedicate staff hours out there for the most part, other than maybe blowing some leaves around and changing bases and that sort of thing. But it is not going to drive our operation expenses to have this. So, a little bit more up front, a whole lot less on the back end of that. one of the things I think that we need to reemphasize is that the primary usage of this field will be for our special populations group and our adaptive recreation groups. Britt, would you stand, please? This Miss Britt Grillo, she is a member of our staff. She is our adaptive recreation specialist. And Britt pretty much holds the key to this thing. Now, we are designing it to where it is multi-use, to where it'll have soccer and lacrosse inlays on it as well. We can play baseball, we can play softball, we can do all those things. But if Britt has a need for it, Britt stuff is coming first. So I think it's important that we mention that. The other usage will be coordinated after that group has first dibs on whatever it is that they want to do there. Want to make certain that point is mentioned this morning. We're excited about it and looking forward to the opportunity. Construction time, Jim, if approved?
In and out about 6 weeks. That's total. That would be come out, regrade, stonework, everything. In and out about 6 weeks.
So what we're looking at hopefully is being able to play on this in the spring of 2019.
I'll just say thank you, Michael.
Yes, sir.
You and I see some more of your staff with you. We've done a lot of work on this one, and it's a bit of a long time coming. I do want to mention the price. I appreciate your help, and Jim, your help with the price. The initial estimate we had on this was a little bit higher than this number, and so bringing that number down is a good thing for sure. Also, I'll reiterate what Michael said about the priority given for the special needs groups. They'll be using that. That's not a decision from the recreation department. That's direction from the board. This will be primarily focused to the special needs groups, and but because of those inlays, we can get a little more bang for the buck, so we can use it at other times. But the priority there is not a decision at the department level. It is coming from the board, and just wanted to be clear on that. But I appreciate you, Michael, and the work that's done into this. We've also got some citizens who've been influential in helping us get this here. I see Ms. Duncan's here. It's good to see you. Some others who aren't able to be here, but I know they're watching online. I came in this morning and actually made the comment in the back hall that this is one of those things that sometimes you come in, you need to vote on something, and sometimes you have to vote on something. But today I'm excited to get to vote on this, and looking forward to that. But thank you for all the work you've done.
Thanks for the opportunity to present it to you.
I think it'd be a good opportunity also for the people in the room and the people that watch on Comcast. Splost. Yes. Some of it comes from people outside the county, but what a great example of how it can be used effectively when otherwise we might not have the funds for it.
We have some samples here, and Mr. Watts has a larger sample. If anybody's interested, we'll hang around for a few minutes and see if we can answer your questions. Thank you for your time.
It's interesting that you said you don't have to cut this, because Ms. Duncan told me that if we did it, she'd cut the grass.
You can cut it once.
Okay. So there you go. Your job's done, Ms. Duncan. There you go.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Number 4 is discuss action to adopt Resolution 1855, amending the Library Services Chapter, that's Chapter 38, and the Parks and Recreation Chapter, Chapter 50 of the Paulding County Code of Ordinances. Mr. Baker.
Good morning. Pleasure to be up here. We always talk in Team Paulding about 3 things: where we've been, where are we now, and where we need to be. And so with that philosophy, we're continuously evaluating our procedures and our policies, our departments, where we're at, the scope of what we do. And that's kind of what leads us here today, is another one of those evaluations. This resolution would do a couple of things. The main thing is that it will allow for the library system to be a part of a new department, an existing department, which is Parks and Recreation. Parks and Recreation will now be Parks and Recreation and Cultural Affairs if the board passes this resolution. And the library system would be a part of that as a division. And so with that, there's a couple of other changes. One of the things I wanted to point out, especially with the library code that's being proposed today, it's like many things that we see. That particular code section hasn't been changed since 1987. I have some shoes, I think, in my closet that are a little bit older than that, barely. But that's a long time. And so this cleans up a little bit of language in there that we need to address. When that code section was passed, and correct me if I'm wrong, Ms. Skipper, and I appreciate all your work on this. I think there was one library at the time.
Correct.
And it made reference to a bound edition of a history. And now we have digitized ability and some other things. So it's just kind of some housekeeping on that, but also a consolidation of making this a division rather than a standalone department. So I'll be happy to answer any questions. I would like to thank a number of people who've helped with this. This has been something that we've been studying for several months now, and so I want to thank Brian Acker, our Human Resources Director. I think I saw Brian back there. He and I have been working on this quite some time, and all of the commissioners. I know I've had many discussions with all of y'all. Ms. Skipper, you and I have had a lot of discussions, and I also want to thank our interim Library Services Coordinator, Ora Stuckey, who is one of our branch managers, and she and her managers have all been working on this with me and are very delighted of the possibility of making these changes. So happy to take any questions.
I'd just like to say thanks again to Brian, Frank, and Lonnie for your institutional knowledge on this, and to all the staff at the libraries, because the public sees us doing this today, but this is actually something that's been going on for the last 3 months, and a lot of work's went into it, a lot of discussion with the board, with the employees out there, so a lot of input. So thank you all for your work. Lonnie, thank you so much.
Also appreciate Mr. Justice, the willingness and the taking on the division and all that. And Frank, I know you've headed this up, but a lot's gone into this, and maybe more than we thought was going to go into this. But I appreciate it.
Well, thank you, and yes, Mr. Justice, I do appreciate you taking on this extra responsibility. It's 4 large structures and 20-something extra people that he hasn't been working with, and so he's agreed to take this on because he's part of Team Paulding, and he wants us to move forward and make the system as best as it can be and make it great. So we appreciate that.
Thank all of you. Number 5 is discuss action to adopt resolution 18-56, revising section 6104B of the Paulding County Code of Ordinance to reflect the new hours of operation based upon the brunch bill. Ms. Skipper.
I think everyone's aware that the Georgia legislature put a vote to the counties, asked us, each individual county, if they wanted to vote on extending hours for what we would call consumption on the premises, but most people think of as restaurant alcohol sales. We did put that on the ballot. It did pass with a fairly overwhelming margin. So what that does is it extended the hours from 11:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. And so in total, it changes the hours for Sunday restaurant sales from 11 a.m., which is just before noon, until midnight at 12 a.m. on Sundays. And that's it's the sole thing this ordinance does.
A lot of work for an hour and a half.
Yes.
Thank you. At the start of the meeting, I mentioned that none of us recognized any elected officials. Well, over the last hour and 15 minutes, I have noticed one of our school board members, Ms. Kim Cobb. And Kim, we're very glad to have you here. That's the conclusion of our regular business. We do have the requirement for executive session for personnel, for potential litigation, and for land acquisition, real estate. So I would entertain a motion to go into executive session for those reasons.
Make a motion, we go into executive session for personnel, real estate, pending and potential litigation.
I have a motion by Commissioner Pownell. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Collette. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Carries 5-0, and we will adjourn to executive session.